They stripped her mark in front of the entire pack. Tore it from her skin as if she were nothing. As if her heart, her loyalty, her sacrifices meant less than ash. Unfit. Wolfless. Useless. The alpha she loved didn't defend her. Didn't look at her. Didn't even speak. He simply turned his back. And mated her sister instead. Luna no more. Packless. Banished. They expected her to break. But under the blood-red moon, something ancient stirred beneath her skin. Something Silvercrest never saw in her. Something they should have feared. Her wolf. Her power. Her destiny. They rejected her. So she built a pack of her own. A pack the moon itself would kneel for. And when the alpha who cast her aside came seeking help, bleeding and desperate, he found a throne. And the Luna he once discarded sitting upon it. If you're already hooked, drop a comment. She deserves better, or Luna rise. And make sure to subscribe if you love. Rejected to regal glow-ups. Alpha regret arcs. Rogue Queen transformations. Mate bond tension and slow burn fire. Stay with me. Her rise is just beginning. Ilara hadn't slept in 3 days. The lunar trials were meant to test her strength, wisdom, and devotion to the pack. She had passed every one. Bleeding, bruised, breathless. But victorious. She expected her alpha. Her mate, Caden. To be proud. Instead, he looked at her with a coldness she had never seen before. You're too weak, he said. You always have been. Her stomach twisted. Caden. I passed every trial. He turned away, jaw tense. Her sister Celine stood behind him, glowing in white silk. A smug smile curling at her lips. The crowd whispered. Some with pity. Most with anticipation. Caden, Ilara whispered, voice cracking. What is this? Her sister stepped forward. The pack deserves a Luna with a real wolf. Pain stabbed through Ilara's chest. Her wolf, quiet, gentle, had never been aggressive, never loud, never dominant. But she was there. She was real. Celine leaned in. You never deserved him. Caden raised his hand. By decree of the Alpha, he said. I strip you of your Luna status. And cast you out of Silvercrest pack. Gasps echoed like falling stones. Ilara's legs buckled. No, no, please. Caden. This is for the good of the pack, he said coldly. The mark on her neck. The symbol of their bond. Burned, then tore away in a flash of agonizing light. Ilara screamed. Her wolf whimpered in agony, collapsing in her chest. Celine smirked as she stepped beside Caden. Your reign is over, sister. Guards grabbed Ilara by the arms. The Alpha she loved. The man she would have died for. Did not look at her even once. She was dragged to the gates. Thrown into the dirt. Left alone beneath a sky that had once felt protective. When the gates slammed shut, Ilara curled in the cold earth, shaking. Her mark was gone. Her mate was gone. Her pack was gone. Everything she had lived for vanished. But beneath the pain, beneath the humiliation, beneath the breaking, her wolf shifted. Not a full transformation. A spark. A pulse. A promise. Ilara lifted her head, eyes burning. They had taken everything. They thought that meant she would die. But she would rise. And she would build something stronger than anything they tried to destroy. The forest was not kind to banished wolves. Branches tore at Ilara's skin as she stumbled deeper into the dark, cold wilderness. Her breath came in ragged shivers, each inhale burning her lungs. She had no cloak, no bag, no protection. Just the clothes she wore during the lunar trials. Now torn, muddy, and soaked with fear. She didn't know how long she had walked after Silvercrest slammed its gates behind her. Minutes. Hours. Days. Time had lost meaning the moment Caden's voice went cold. Unfit. Weak. Cast out. The words clung to her skin like frost. But worse. The empty space on her neck where his mark once glowed. Every breath felt like a blade scraped across raw flesh. Her wolf, curled deep inside, whimpered helplessly. Not dead. Just wounded. Ilara, the faintest voice whispered inside her. Her wolf. Barely alive. Barely conscious. I'm here, she rasped. I'm here, I promise. Her legs trembled beneath her. She collapsed beside the roots of an ancient oak. The cold crept in fast. First her fingers. Then her toes. Then the edges of her mind. She curled into herself, hugging her knees as tears cut down her cheeks. How am I supposed to survive out here? Her voice cracked. You were my home. Now I have nothing. Her wolf whimpered again, a small, broken sound. Ilara clenched her fists. No. Don't apologize, she whispered fiercely, pressing a hand to her chest where her wolf lay wounded. You didn't fail me. I failed you. I wasn't strong enough. Lightning flashed through the treetops, briefly illuminating the night sky. Ilara looked up. The moon, full and bright, hung above the forest like a silver guardian. But the moment she saw it, something inside her shifted. The moon hadn't dimmed. The world hadn't fallen apart. The sky hadn't rejected her. Only they had. Her breath trembled. And then something strange happened. The mark on her neck, the one that had been torn away, began to pulse faintly. Not with the memory of Caden. Not with pain. But with something else. Warmth. A tiny spark, like a heartbeat trying to return. Ilara gasped. What? Her wolf stirred, forcing a single word into her mind. Rise. Ilara's eyes widened. That wasn't a plea. It wasn't a cry. It was a command. She pushed herself upright despite the pain. I can't, she whispered. But the moon above her brightened. Its glow swelling until the entire grove shimmered with silver light. Her wolf whispered again. Rise. Her fingers dug into the dirt. But I don't have a pack, she argued weakly. Make one. A sharp breath caught in her throat. How? She had nothing. No land. No allies. No strength. Her mind raced through memories. The way Caden dismissed her fears. The way Celine mocked her kindness. The way the pack whispered when she walked by. All her life, she had been underestimated. Overlooked. Silenced. Trampled. Maybe that's why the moon hadn't given up on her. Ilara stared at her trembling hands. What if I'm not strong enough to lead anyone, she whispered. The wind shifted, carrying a scent that froze her blood. Wolves. Not friendly ones. Growls rumbled through the shadows. Yellow eyes blinked between the trees. Rogues. Ilara staggered back. 3 of them stepped forward. Lean, scarred, hungry. Look what we found, one of them snarled. A pretty little stray. Ilara's heart slammed against her ribs. She steadied herself against the oak, her breaths quickening. The rogues spread out, circling her. She's wounded. She smells of Silvercrest. She'll fetch a high price. Ilara's pulse raced. Her wolf whimpered again. Please, she whispered, no more. But the rogues pounced. Ilara raised her arms instinctively, bracing for claws, for teeth, for pain. And then the forest exploded with power. A growl, deep, violent, alpha-born, shook the air. A dark shape surged between her and the rogues, moving with lethal speed. Claws flashed. Teeth snapped. 2 rogues were thrown aside in seconds. The third stepped back in terror. Nightshade Pack. The name alone made the rogue flee into the darkness. Ilara fell to her knees, staring as the massive wolf turned toward her. Black fur streaked with silver. Eyes burning with alpha fire. Aura so powerful it bent the air around him. Then the wolf shifted. Bones cracked, reshaping into a tall, broad-shouldered man with obsidian hair and scars crossing his chest. An alpha. A powerful one. He approached slowly, cautiously, as if approaching a wounded creature that might run. "Are you hurt?" he asked, voice rough but not unkind. Ilara tried to speak. Nothing came out. The alpha knelt before her, scanning her bruised arms, her torn clothes, the faint burn on her neck where Caden's mark had been removed. His jaw tightened. "Who did this to you?" he demanded. She shook her head weakly. It doesn't matter." "It matters," he growled softly. "Everything about you matters." Her breath hitched. No one had ever spoken to her like that. He extended a hand. "Come with me," he said. "This forest is not safe." She hesitated. Why help me?" His expression softened. "Because the moment the moon lit up this clearing, I felt your wolf cry. And an alpha answers cries like that." His gaze deepened. "And because you don't belong on your knees." Ilara's lip trembled. "I don't have a pack." "Then we'll make one." Her heart stuttered. "What?" He stood and offered his hand again. "My name is Darius Veilheart," he said. "Alpha of Nightshade. And for as long as you walk beside me, you are under my protection." Her wolf lifted her head inside her. Slow. Weak. But alive. Maybe for the first time. Ilara reached out. Her fingers touched his. A spark shot through her veins. Not mate bond. Something else. Recognition. Respect. A tether linking 2 wolves the moon had not chosen romantically, but chose for destiny. Darius pulled her gently to her feet. "You're stronger than you think," he murmured. Ilara looked toward the forest, then toward the moon. Her wolf spoke again. "Build." Ilara nodded slowly. "I will." Her voice trembled. But it didn't break. And that was the beginning of her rise. The cabin Darius left her in was small, rough, and far too quiet. Ilara sat at the edge of the bed, staring at her hands, her trembling, useless hands. Outside, wolves patrolled the borders, their paws thudding rhythmically on the soil. Their growls carried through the night air, but none came near her. They didn't fear her. They didn't respect her. They simply didn't see her. Her wolf curled inside her, small and silent, wounded deeper than any healer would ever understand. "We are safe," her wolf whispered weakly. But safety did not feel like this. Safety was not isolation. Safety was not being hidden away like a fragile artifact. Darius had carried her out of Silvercrest territory, broken, bleeding, unconscious, and the moment she woke, he created distance. He treated her gently, cautiously, professionally. He fed her, monitored her healing, and made sure she didn't freeze at night. But he didn't talk to her. He never invited conversation. Never asked about her past. Never asked why she flinched at the sound of male footsteps. Never asked why her wolf remained so faint it barely existed. He didn't pry. And somehow, that hurt more. Ilara stood slowly, clutching her torn cloak around her shoulders. The air beyond the door shimmered with the energy of the Nightshade wolves, older, stronger, battle-tested wolves who had bled with Darius in wars she had only heard whispered in Silvercrest halls. She approached the window. Wolves passed by, ears twitching, eyes sharp. Their discipline was unmistakable. Their posture precise. Their loyalty to Darius unquestionable. Her wolf whimpered. "Do you think they'll accept us?" she whispered. A flicker of warmth answered, small, uncertain. Maybe. Maybe was not enough to steady her breathing. The door creaked open. Ilara stiffened. Darius stepped in, massive, commanding, carrying the scent of pine, iron, and moonlight. His presence sucked all air from the small room. His eyes scanned her immediately. "You're awake," he said quietly. Ilara nodded without meeting his gaze. "I didn't want to stay in bed." "You should rest." "I'm fine," she whispered. He stepped closer. "Let me see your shoulder." She hesitated. "It's healed." His eyes narrowed. "You don't heal that fast. Not with a wound that deep." "Show me." Ilara swallowed hard. She lowered her cloak, revealing a faint scar where the deep gash should have been. Darius's breath stilled. "Ilara," he said slowly, "who healed you?" She opened her mouth. Then stopped. Who did heal her? The memory came in a flash. Blood on the forest floor. Her wolf pushing energy through her veins. Her own hand glowing faintly as she pressed it to her wound. She stiffened. "It just happened," she whispered. "I woke up and it was nearly gone." Darius stepped closer, studying her face. His voice dropped, heavy with meaning. "That shouldn't be possible." Ilara hugged herself. "I know." Silence held them. Not uncomfortable, but charged. Then Darius asked quietly, "Ilara, what exactly did Silvercrest do to you?" Her wolf flinched. Ilara's breath hitched, shame slicing through her chest. "Nothing. They just didn't want me." "Why?" The question crushed something inside her. No one ever asked why. No one ever cared enough to ask. She could have lied. She could have told him a half-truth. She could have blamed everything on Caden. But her voice came out small, raw, honest. "My wolf was too weak." Darius stared at her, expression unreadable. "Your wolf is not weak," he said finally. "She's suppressed." Ilara froze. "What?" "Suppressed. Buried under trauma. Wolves don't weaken on their own, they are pushed down." Silenced. She shook her head. "No. That can't be true. Ilara, I've trained hundreds of wolves. I've fought beside warriors with damaged wolves. I know what suppression looks like." His voice softened. "Your wolf is calling out. But you can't hear her clearly yet." Her throat tightened. A wave of shame washed over her. She hated how vulnerable she felt. How much she wanted to disappear. But Darius stepped closer, lowering his voice. "You survived something terrible. That takes strength." No one had ever said those words to her. No one. Her wolf stirred faintly, as if lifting its head for the first time. The moment stretched. And then shattered. A horn sounded outside. Wolves sprinted past the window. Darius stiffened immediately. "Rogues," he growled. Close. Very close. Fear stabbed her chest. "Should we hide?" "No. I'll handle it." Before she could respond, he barked an order. "Stay inside. Do not open the door." Then he was gone, moving so fast she barely saw it. Ilara ran to the window. Shadows rushed through the trees, rogues, large and emaciated, snarling as they barreled toward the clearing. Nightshade wolves clashed with them, forming sharp defensive lines. Her heart pounded. She should hide. She should stay safe. She should do what she was told. But a cry rang out. Not a warrior's cry. Not a grown wolf. A child. Her wolf jerked inside her chest. Help! Ilara's body moved before her mind could catch up. She ran from the cabin, heart hammering, feet pounding through the soil. The cry came again. Higher, weaker, fading. She sprinted past the clearing, ignoring wolves shouting for her to stop. She dove through thick underbrush, branches slashing her skin. At the bottom of a small slope, she found him. A pup, maybe 13, clutching his leg as rogue corruption spread black and fast through his wound. The boy lifted his head weakly. Please, don't leave. Something in her soul cracked open. I won't, she whispered fiercely. Her hands glowed. Just like before. Silver gold light flooding through her veins. The rogue corruption hissed and receded. The boy gasped. Ilara trembled. Her wolf surged with a strength she had never known. More, her wolf urged. Heal him. And she did. For the first time in her life, she didn't feel weak. She didn't feel useless. She didn't feel broken. She felt powerful. When the light faded, the boy sagged into her arms. You saved me, he whispered. Ilara breathed hard, overwhelmed. You're safe now. But a shadow stepped into view. Roderick. The former beater of Silvercrest. The man who tormented her for years. The man who called her the lunar mistake. He sneered. I thought I smelled failure. Ilara froze. Kel whimpered behind her. Roderick stepped closer, eyes glinting with cruelty. Caden wants you dead, Ilara. And I always follow orders. Ilara's hands tightened around Kel protectively. But before Roderick could strike, a deep, lethal growl thundered through the forest. Darius. Flanked by warriors, eyes blazing with alpha rage. You should not have come here, Darius said. Roderick snarled. She doesn't belong to you. She belongs to no one, Darius snapped. But she is under my protection. Ilara trembled, not with fear, with something far more dangerous. Hope. Her wolf rose, whispering. This is where we begin. Nightshade's sacred clearing still hummed with the remnants of Ilara's awakening. The air held a faint silver glow, soft, pulsing, alive, like the clearing itself had inhaled her magic and had not yet exhaled. Wolves lingered near the edges, whispering among themselves, unsure whether to approach her or give her space. They had witnessed something rare, something ancient, something whispered only in their legends, a wolf who awakened under the moon's direct blessing. Ilara stood at the center of the clearing, Astra's presence inside her stronger than ever. Her wolf no longer whimpered or hid in the corners of her mind. Astra paced proudly, observing, breathing, claiming. For the first time, Ilara didn't feel like her wolf was a hollow echo. She felt accompanied, whole, seen, and terrified. Darius approached from the arc of shadows beneath the pines, his steps controlled, measured. His aura wrapped around him like midnight armor, suffused with a quiet intensity. When he reached her, he didn't speak immediately. He simply watched her, as though searching for a version of her he hadn't met yet. Ilara, he said finally, voice softer than before, how do you feel? She swallowed. Like I'm learning to breathe again. A small smile flickered across his lips. Good. But then the smile faded, replaced by the grave seriousness of a leader. We need to talk about what happened. Ilara nodded, bracing herself. Darius gestured to the moon altar. Sit. Ilara hesitated but obeyed. The stone was cool beneath her palms, humming faintly under her touch. Darius remained standing, arms crossed as he regarded her. You didn't just heal Kale, he said. You didn't just release energy. You touched the runes, and they woke up. Ilara's brows drew together. I didn't do anything special. I just breathed. Darius shook his head. Ilara, the runes haven't awakened for 27 years. Not since my mother. Her breath caught. Your mother. She was an alpha-blessed wolf, he said. Moon-touched. A healer. A guide. She led Nightshade for nearly 2 decades before the war. Ilara's throat tightened. And she's gone now. He nodded once. She died in battle. A shadow crossed his expression, gone as quickly as it appeared. But when you placed your hands on the altar, the same glow she used to summon returned. His eyes narrowed slightly. You're not just a healer, Ilara. You're something else. Ilara's pulse quickened. I don't understand. You don't have to. He lowered his voice. But you must accept that your wolf is not weak. Ilara inhaled sharply, Astra pressing warm reassurance into her chest. But Darius wasn't finished. Ilara, he continued, kneeling so their eyes were level, your wolf didn't wake tonight. She revealed herself. Ilara's breath froze. Silvercrest told you your wolf was broken, he said, voice broken with rage he rarely showed. They rejected you because they feared what they could not control. Ilara's eyes stung. They said Astra was defective. Incomplete. That she'd never shift properly. That I'd never heal or fight or lead. And you believed them, he said quietly. That is the part that angers me the most. Ilara looked away, shame clawing at her ribs. Darius leaned closer, not invading, but anchoring her. Ilara. Look at me. She did. You healed a pup with corrupted blood. You restored strength to an entire clearing. You activated runes older than any living wolf. Do you still believe you are weak? Ilara's voice cracked. I don't know what I am. Darius exhaled, a long, slow breath. Then let me show you. He extended his hand. Not to touch her. Not to guide her. But to stand with her. Ilara hesitated, until Kale limped into the clearing, wrapped in blankets but beaming with pride. Ilara, he said, breathless. You have to come see. She blinked. See what? The wolves. Kale tugged her sleeve. They're waiting. Ilara's heart thudded. Waiting for what? Kale looked up at her with absolute certainty. For you. Darius led her to the edge of the clearing where nearly 30 wolves stood assembled in a silent half-circle. Their posture wasn't aggressive, it was reverent. A warrior with braided hair stepped forward. Ilara of the Moon, she said, bowing her head, we wish to speak our oaths. Ilara staggered back. Oaths? To me? Why? Because you saved our young, another said. Because your wolf sings with the moon, murmured a third. Because leaders are not chosen by rank, Kale whispered, but by instinct. Ilara's chest tightened. I'm not your alpha. No, the braided warrior said, but you are becoming one. Darius turned to her, expression unreadable. This is not about claiming a title. This is about accepting that wolves follow what feels true. Ilara trembled. I don't know how to lead. Good, Darius said. Weak leaders think they know everything. Strong leaders learn. A hush fell over the clearing. The braided warrior stepped forward, lifting her palm. Ilara hail, let us stand behind you. Emotion choked Ilara's throat. She looked at Kale. At the warriors. At the runes glowing faintly behind her. And finally at Darius, who nodded once. Rise. Ilara lifted her chin. and moonfire began. Ilara stepped deeper into the semicircle of wolves, Astra humming with alert, bright energy under her skin. She felt dozens of eyes resting on her, not with suspicion or resentment, but with expectation, with hope, with belief she feared she could not live up to. A younger warrior stepped forward, bowing her head. I was in the border squad last winter. I lost my sister to rogue corruption. No healer, not even our elders, could save her. Her voice trembled, but she continued. Tonight, I watched you undo corruption in seconds. Please, accept my oath. Ilara's breath hitched. I don't know if I can accept oaths. I'm not an alpha. An alpha isn't a title, the warrior whispered. It's a center of gravity. She lifted her chin. And you pulled us all toward you. Ilara's knees weakened. Darius stepped closer, not touching her, but near enough that she could feel the warmth of him anchoring her spine. His voice dropped to a murmur only she could hear. Let them speak. Nothing binds you. But something is birthing here tonight. Ilara exhaled shakily and nodded. The warrior placed her palm over her heart. My strength is yours, Ilara Hale. My loyalty, freely given. Wolves murmured with reverence. Another stepped forward, an older wolf with a scar marking her cheek. I swore I would never follow again, not after the war. But I follow compassion when I see it. I follow courage when it rises. And I follow you. Ilara's hands trembled. Astra nudged her gently. Accept. But before she could speak, footsteps rustled behind the wolves. The crowd parted as a tall man emerged, stern, quiet, with the bearing of someone who had seen too many battles. Darius is beater. Ilara, he said, voice steady but lined with emotion, I have followed Darius since the day his mother died. I've fought in 6 wars. I've buried wolves I loved. He paused, jaw tight. Tonight, I watched something I have not seen since the era of lunar Aradia. Magic that heals without demand. Power that listens, not commands. Ilara blinked rapidly, stunned. I do not offer my oath lightly. But I offer it now. He knelt, an act almost unheard of from a beater. Ilara of Moonfire, I stand behind you. Gasps rippled across the clearing. Ilara's heart hammered so loudly she thought the others might hear it. Please stop, she whispered, voice cracking. I'm not used to this. To being seen. The beater lifted his gaze. Then get used to it. Astra surged inside her, brighter, clearer than ever before. We were made to be seen. Ilara's throat closed. She lifted her palm slightly, uncertain, trembling, and the faintest shimmer of silver gold radiated outward, brushing the wolves around her like the warmth of a slow sunrise. Wolves inhaled sharply, as though blessed. Darius stepped up beside her. Ilara, he murmured, do you understand what this means? She shook her head helplessly. No. He tilted his head slightly. It means your wolf has chosen her path. Ilara's breath stilled. Her path? Yes, Darius said softly. Astra is not a subordinate wolf. She is not a follower. She is not a broken fragment. His gaze held hers. She is a rising wolf. Her vision blurred with sudden tears. I've never risen to anything. Darius's voice darkened, not with anger at her, but with fury on her behalf. Because those who should have lifted you tried instead to drown you. Ilara looked down. Silvercrest always said I was born wrong. Silvercrest is wrong, he snapped. The force of his conviction rattled something deep inside her. Darius took a slow step closer, eyes locked with an intensity that felt like an oath of his own. Ilara, your wolf didn't awaken. She returned. Her lips parted. Returned? Yes. His voice grew softer. Only wolves with ancient lineages return. Only wolves of destiny return. Astra howled inside her chest, long, fierce, triumphant. Ilara gasped. Darius. I feel her. Really feel her. Good. He smiled faintly. Because she's been waiting. Suddenly, a howl tore through the clearing, not from Nightshade, and not from any border wolf. A foreign howl. Sharp. Hungry. Rogue. Ilara tensed. They're close. Darius stiffened. Too close. A beta sprinted into the clearing. Alpha. Rogues on the west border. 20, no, 30. But something's wrong, they aren't acting normal. They're organized. Rogues were never organized. Ilara felt Astra stiffen. Blood magic. Ilara's blood ran cold. Selene. Darius's jaw flexed. Prepare to defend the clearing. Evacuate the pups now. Wolves scattered instantly. But Astra tugged inside her. Not away from danger. Toward it. Ilara grabbed Darius's arm. I have to go. No, he growled. You are not ready for a direct confrontation. Ilara's eyes shone with silver. They're using corrupted magic. We both know the warriors can't withstand that alone. He hesitated, just for a heartbeat. And in that heartbeat, Ilara saw fear in him. Not fear of the rogues. Fear of losing her. She placed her hand on his wrist. Darius. I'm done hiding. Astra rose, filling her veins with heat. We rise. Darius exhaled slowly. Then nodded. Then I go with you. She shook her head. No. You protect the clearing. The wolves here need you. The border needs me. His eyes widened, not in refusal, but in recognition. Acceptance. Respect. You're not a Luna anymore, he murmured. You're something else. Ilara inhaled deeply, her wolf standing tall inside her. I'm Moonfire. The wolves parted to form a path. Ilara stepped forward with Astra's energy swirling bright and fierce at her fingertips. The night wind caught her cloak, whipping it behind her like the wings she had yet to earn. As she crossed the clearing, wolves bowed their heads. Not out of submission, but out of allegiance. Ilara, Darius called. She turned. He met her gaze with his own vow. Lead them. Astra howled. Ilara nodded once. Stepping into the forest. Stepping into destiny. Stepping into the battle that would forge the Alpha Queen the moon had been waiting for. The forest changed the moment Ilara crossed into the western ridge. The wind, once cool and fragrant with pine, grew sharp, metallic, like blood being whispered across bark. Astra prowled inside her, fully awake, fur bristling along the spiritual line of Ilara's spine. Corruption ahead, Astra murmured, her voice clear now, no longer an echo. Ilara tightened her grip on her cloak. I feel it. The deeper she went, the heavier the air became. The trees bent strangely, their branches warped as if recoiling from something unholy. The soil beneath her boots shifted with unnatural warmth, and for a heartbeat, she felt a pulse, slow, rhythmic, feeding on something living. Then she heard them. Not rogue howls. Not feral shrieks. Chanting. Her chest tightened. Rogues didn't chant. Rogues didn't unite. Rogues didn't build structure of any kind. Unless someone forced them to. Ilara approached a rocky outcrop and crouched behind a boulder. Her breath froze. Below her, in the ravine, over 30 rogues moved with unnatural precision, eyes glowing sickly violet, veins etched with dark runes. They were no longer wolves, they were puppets forged through corrupted magic. But worse. Standing at the center of the ravine was someone she recognized instantly, though she wished she didn't. Selene. The Silvercrest heir. The Luna they wanted instead of her. The woman who once told Ilara, "You were born beneath us. Try not to embarrass yourself by trying to rise." Celine's silver braid gleamed like a blade as she raised her hands over an altar carved from bone. Runes glowed beneath her fingers, deep, violent purple, pulsing with hungry energy. Ilara's heart dropped. She's channeling blood magic. Astra's growl shook her ribcage. She is trying to create a controlled rogue army. This is no attack, it's an uprising. Celine's voice rose, sharp and precise. By the power of the forsaken moon, bind them to my will. Ilara felt the shift. A pressure wave that rattled the trees, cracked the soil, and sent several rogues to their knees as the spell wrapped around them like chains. Ilara's pulse hammered. I have to stop it. Astra surged. Now. Ilara stood, stepping onto the ledge. The moonlight hit her, catching the silver in her hair and the faint glow in her eyes. She felt Astra align with her breath. Then she leaped. Her feet struck the ravine floor with a thud that echoed through the trees. Rogues snapped their heads toward her, snarling, confused, because she was not supposed to carry alpha-level aura. Celine froze. Her eyes widened. You? Ilara lifted her chin. Surprised to see me alive? Celine scoffed. Barely. Ilara's gaze swept the ravine. You're playing with forces you don't understand. Celine's lip curled. I understand perfectly. The moon took my birthright when Darius refused to choose a Luna. Her eyes flicked to Ilara with venom. And then it awakened for a nobody like you. I refuse to kneel to fate. Ilara stepped closer, Astra's aura shimmering around her like soft, rising fire. This isn't how you take power. This corrupts you. Better corrupted with power, Celine hissed, than powerless and forgotten. Rogues lunged, but Ilara swept her hand out instinctively. Silver gold energy burst from her palm, forming a wide arc that blasted the first 3 rogues backward. They hit the ravine wall with a crunch and slid unconscious to the ground. Celine stumbled back. What did you just do? Ilara blinked, stunned herself. I don't know. Astra laughed softly. We are remembering. Celine's eyes narrowed. No matter. I have 30 wolves. You have none. Ilara inhaled sharply. She didn't need 30. She needed Astra. Rogues launched forward, fast, snarling, coordinated. Ilara spun, lifting her arm as Astra guided her movements. Silver threads of light shot from her fingertips, carving a protective circle around her that shimmered like a soft shield. Claws struck it, but didn't break through. Ilara pushed outward with a cry, and the shield exploded in a shockwave of moonlit force, sending rogues sprawling. Celine screamed, "Stop her! Tear her apart!" But the rogues hesitated. Because something else was rising in the ravine. Ilara felt it before she saw it, a hum of recognition, a vibration like warm wind stirring inside her chest. The moon crested over the ravine, its light falling directly onto her. Astra rose inside her, fully. Shift, Astra whispered. Ilara's breath trembled. Here. Now. Shift. Her bones warmed, not breaking, not tearing, but moving like fluid. Light poured from her skin, weaving itself around the shape of her wolf. Ilara felt her spine elongate, her senses sharpen, her heartbeat merge with Astra's. When the light faded, she stood in her wolf form. And the ravine went silent. Her wolf was not silver. Not white. Not grey. She blazed in moongold fur, shimmering like a dawn forged into flesh. Celine stumbled back in horror. That's impossible. Only ancient bloodlines, only lunas of prophecy, only. Ilara's wolf eyes, sharp, molten gold, locked onto hers. Then she moved. faster than any wolf Selene had ever seen. Ilara crashed into the corrupted altar with a powerful strike, cracking the bone tower in half. Runes shattered. Energy sputtered and died. The spell link snapped. Rogues collapsed, howling as the corruption poured out of their veins like dissipating smoke. Selene screamed, "No," and fled toward the forest edge, her cloak whipping like a shadow. Ilara shifted mid-run, returning to human form as she chased her. "Selene! Stop!" Selene did, only to whirl around with a dagger tip glowing purple. She lunged. Ilara reacted too slowly. But Astra didn't. A shield of light erupted around Ilara, stopping the dagger an inch from her heart. Selene stared. "You really are becoming Luna." Ilara didn't flinch. "Not Luna." The shield pulsed. "I'm becoming Emmy." Selene's face twisted as the shield pulsed brighter, casting moonlit reflections across her features, shadows of rage, envy, and disbelief. "You were supposed to fail," she whispered. "That's what everyone agreed. You were supposed to break, Ilara." Ilara held her ground. "I did break. But breaking isn't the end. It's the beginning." With a furious scream, Selene threw herself forward again, dagger aimed straight at Ilara's throat. The corrupted runes along the blade pulsed faster, reacting to her rage. Astra surged inside Ilara. "Channel me." "Push." Ilara lifted her palm, and a stream of silver gold light burst forth, catching Selene mid-stride and blasting her backward. She slammed into a tree, the dagger clattering from her grip. The corrupted glow along its edge sputtered out. Selene gasped, staring up at Ilara with wide, horrified eyes. "What are you?" Ilara stepped forward slowly, softly, like someone approaching a wounded predator, careful but unafraid. "I'm the wolf you said could never rise. The wolf your pack rejected. The wolf you tried to bury." Selene's jaw clenched. "Moonfire will never accept you. Silvercrest will never bow to you." Ilara stopped an arm's length away. "I don't need them to bow. I need them to stop destroying what they don't understand." Astra pressed warm approval through Ilara's chest. But before she could speak again, a blaring, warlike howl tore across the sky. Not Rogue. Not Nightshade. A commanding howl, deep, resonant, unmistakably alpha. Darius. Ilara whipped her head toward the forest. He was close. Very close. Selene's smile twisted into something cruel. "Ah. He comes for you." Ilara frowned. "And that bothers you?" Selene laughed bitterly. "It enrages me. Do you know why?" She rose shakily to her feet, brushing blood from her lip. "Because I spent years trying to earn what you got the moment he looked at you." Ilara froze. Selene spat the words like venom. "His attention. His instinct. His protection. You survived because he cared." Ilara swallowed hard. "I survived because I changed." Selene shook her head. "No. You survived because you're his mate." Ilara's blood chilled. "That's not, Darius and I, there is no claim." "Oh." Selene sneered. "Then why do you think the moon awakened for you under his watch? Why do you think your wolf came alive beside him? Why do you think your aura mirrors his when you're near?" Astra whispered shakily inside her. "He is not just your alpha." Ilara's heart pounded wildly. "Stop." Selene's eyes burned. "Darius was supposed to choose a Luna after the war. Everyone expected it to be me. I was strong enough. Clever enough. Powerful enough." Her voice cracked. "But he said fate hadn't spoken yet. I thought it meant he was being cautious. But no. He was waiting for the moon to show him a sign." Ilara's throat tightened. "You're wrong. Darius doesn't follow fate. He makes choices based on you, Selene hissed. He chooses based on you. Ilara's breath broke. Astra's presence trembled. We feared this. But destiny is not always gentle. Before Ilara could respond, the ground began to shake. She turned just in time to see the remaining corrupted rogues thrashing violently as the last remnants of Selene's control leaked from their veins. Selene cursed. No, 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 without the altar, they'll lose their minds. Ilara glanced at the rogues, eyes glassy, claws digging into soil, bodies convulsing. They weren't monsters. They were victims. Astra pulsed urgently. Help them. Ilara lifted her hands, letting moonlight swirl around her fingertips. But Selene lunged desperately, trying to grab her wrist. No. If they break free entirely, they will tear you apart. Ilara didn't waver. Then I'll reach them first. She pressed her palms outward. Silver gold light rippled like a wind. It swept across the ravine, touching each rogue with soft radiance. Their snarling quieted. Their muscles loosened. The purple veins along their necks and arms began to fade. Rogue by rogue, the corruption drained away. Until the ravine lay in stunned silence. It was over. But Selene stepped back, shaking her head violently, as if reality itself refused to settle. You're not stronger than me. You're not. You're just. Ilara met her gaze with a calm she had never possessed before. I'm finally myself. Selene crumbled. Shoulders sagging, eyes wet, breath shallow. She fell to her knees. What happens now? You kill me. Ilara walked closer. The wind quieted, listening. No, Ilara said. I don't kill broken wolves. I heal them. Selene looked up sharply. Ilara crouched beside her. But I can't force you to change. If you choose to continue this path, Darius will hunt you. And he will not hesitate. Selene's chin trembled. I don't know who I am without power. Ilara exhaled softly. Then become someone who doesn't need to destroy others to feel whole. For a long moment, Selene said nothing. Then, footsteps thundered behind them. Darius burst into the ravine with half of Nightshade's warriors at his back. His eyes locked onto Ilara immediately, scanning her for injury, checking her hands, her stance, her breathing, her aura. His entire body radiated unspoken panic. When he reached her, he cupped her face. Not with dominance. Not with authority. But with raw, unmistakable relief. Ilara. Her breath caught. Their foreheads almost touched. The ravine faded. Everything faded. Astra whispered. He feels the bond. Selene looked away in pain, but also, perhaps, understanding. Darius didn't release Ilara. You should have waited for me. I couldn't, she whispered. He closed his eyes. I know. Behind them, warriors began picking up unconscious rogues and scanning the ravine. Selene rose shakily. Is this where you kill me, Darius? Darius finally looked at her. His expression was cold, but not cruel. No. Ilara wouldn't want that. Selene blinked, stunned. But you will face judgment for blood magic, he continued. You will answer for the wolves you harmed. Selene nodded slowly, acceptance breaking across her like a wave. I understand. Ilara touched Darius's arm. Not tonight. Take her at dawn. Right now, she needs to breathe. Darius studied her for a long moment. Then nodded. He trusted her judgment. He trusted her. As warriors escorted Selene away, Darius turned back to Ilara. You did the impossible, he murmured. Again. Ilara looked at the ravine, at the healed rogues, the broken altar, the moon overhead. No, she whispered. Astra and I did it together. Darius smiled softly. Then the world should prepare. His voice dipped lower. Because you're becoming something extraordinary. Her heart trembled. Astra stood tall inside her. And Ilara realized. This wasn't the end of a battle. It was the dawn of her rise. The night the moon chose its queen. The forest did not rest after the ravine battle. It held its breath. Ilara sensed it the moment she crossed back into the moonfire clearing, the tension, the electricity, the silence that vibrated with warning. Wolves stood on edge, their ears pinned, their bodies stiff. Even the moonlight felt sharper, as if anticipating something only the ancient trees understood. Darius approached before she reached the center. His aura was darker than usual, storm-heavy, wound tight, burning at the edges. His eyes, once fierce with panic for her safety, now held something deeper. Something dangerous. Ilara, he said quietly, there's something you need to see. Before she could respond, a low, guttural rumble rolled across the clearing. Not a rogue howl. Not a wolf's cry. A pulse. Magic. Old magic. Astra stiffened inside her. The earth shifts. Something awakens. Ilara gripped Darius's arm. Is this Celine's doing? No, he said, scanning the tree line. This is older. Wilder. His gaze locked onto hers. And it's calling you. The air fractured. A bright fissure of moonlight cracked the sky open like a wound. Wolves yelped and scattered. Darius stepped in front of Ilara, shielding her with his entire body. Ilara, stay behind me. But the moonlight didn't fall on Darius. It fell on her. Silver gold radiance spiraled downward, wrapping around Ilara like a column of shimmering wind. Her heart thundered. Astra pressed against her ribs. This is the judgment. Ilara's voice quivered. Judgment. The moon tests its chosen, Astra murmured. It will know if we are worthy. Darius grabbed her shoulders, shaking his head. Ilara, don't move. Don't go into that light. But his hand passed straight through it. The moonlight had claimed her. A roar shook the clearing. The earth split. Runes flared to life across the ground, ancient, spiraling symbols Ilara had seen only in shattered histories. They ignited around her feet, burning white-hot. Ilara. Darius lunged again, but an invisible barrier flung him back. He hit the ground hard, wolves rushing to help him, though he shoved them off with a snarl. Ilara. Ilara. The moonlight thickened, pulling her upward. Her feet left the earth. Her hair whipped around her face. Magic crackled across her skin like lightning. Astra's voice deepened, reverberating with power Ilara had never heard. The moon calls us to ascend. Ilara gasped. Ascend? I'm not ready. We are. The clearing erupted with violent wind as a massive spirit wolf materialized above her, a translucent being made of moon flame and stardust. Its eyes glowed molten silver. Its presence dwarfed every wolf in the clearing, even Darius. The Moon Guardian. The one who selected ancient lunars. The one who judged rising queens. Wolves collapsed in awe. Some cried. Some prayed. Darius didn't bow. He stared at the spirit wolf with raw, terrified devotion, his gaze glued to Ilara suspended in the air. Ilara, he shouted again. Fight it. Don't let it take you. But Ilara felt no fear now. The magic didn't hurt. It embraced. The spirit wolf lowered its head, pressing its celestial muzzle close until it nearly touched Ilara's forehead. Her breath stilled. A voice, not Astra's, not her own, echoed through her entire being. Child of return. Heir of the lost lunar line. What do you seek? Ilara trembled. I seek to protect those who cannot protect themselves. The ground pulsed. What do you fear? Her breath cracked. Becoming what Silvercrest told me I was, nothing. The wind howled. What do you choose? Ilara's heartbeat thundered. Her answer rose without hesitation. I choose to rise. The spirit wolf roared, not with anger, but triumph. The sound rippled through the clearing, rattling trees, shaking soil, making every wolf drop to their knees. Moonlight speared downward, engulfing Ilara in a pillar of blazing radiance. Astra surged forward, merging with her completely. Their heartbeats synced. Their breath became one. A flare of gold exploded outward. When the light dimmed, Ilara stood on her feet again. But she was transformed. Her hair shimmered with streaks of moon gold. Her aura towered like a living storm. Her eyes glowed with the ancient fire of her lineage. Wolves gasped, trembling under the weight of her presence. Darius stared at her like she was a miracle. Ilara. She took a breath, and the air bent around her. Astra whispered inside her, not as a separate voice, but fused with her soul. We have become. But the night was not done. A distant howl cut through the clearing, feral, broken, echoing with rage and agony. Selene. Ilara turned sharply. What has she done? Darius growled. A wave of corrupted energy pulsed from the forest's edge, shaking the clearing. Wolves staggered. Shadows tore through the trees. Selene stumbled into the moonlight. But she was no longer herself. Dark runes crawled along her skin. Her veins pulsed violet. Her eyes were wild and unfocused. She had taken the corruption into herself. Ilara's breath caught. Selene, what did you do? Selene screamed, a sound of agony, envy, and despair. If I cannot rise, then I will fall with power. Her body contorted, shifting into a monstrous half-wolf form. The corruption overtook her, twisting bone, warping muscle, shredding sanity. Wolves cried out. Darius shifted instantly, fur black as midnight, aura crushing in its intensity. Ilara, stay back. But the spirit wolf appeared one more time, standing behind Ilara like a celestial guardian. Its voice echoed through the air. The fallen must be met by the risen. Ilara swallowed hard. This battle wasn't Darius's. It was hers. She stepped forward. Her aura flared. And Selene lunged. Selene struck the earth with such force that the ground split beneath her claws, shards of stone flying like shrapnel. Wolves dove aside, some yelping, others baring fangs in panic. But not Ilara. She walked forward as if the corrupted creature before her were nothing more than a storm she had already decided to step into. Astra rose inside her like fire wrapped in calm. We end this, not with destruction, but with truth. Selene charged again, faster this time, faster than any corrupted wolf should have been able to move. Her claws slashed across the air, cutting a line of violet energy that hissed like smoke. Ilara lifted her hand. The attack shattered against her palm like glass. Selene recoiled, snarling in disbelief. Ilara took another step forward, the moon weaving light around her ankles. Selene, this isn't you. This is what the corruption wants you to become. Selene's voice was warped, layered with a second, darker growl. Don't pretend you know me. She struck again. This time Ilara didn't raise her hand. She moved aside, fluid and graceful under Astra's guidance. Selene stumbled past her, crashing into a fallen log. The impact made her cry out, not with rage this time, but with a flash of pain that cut through the corrupted veil. Ilara, Selene whimpered, voice splitting between two beings. Help me. Ilara's heart twisted. Astra pressed against her spirit. She is not gone. Reach her. Ilara stepped toward the writhing wolf, ignoring Darius's growl of warning behind her. "Ilara, stop. She's too unstable." "I know," Ilara whispered. "But so was I." Celine whipped around, corruption flaring violently, purple veins crawling across her cheeks like roots of a dying tree. She lunged again, not with strategy, but desperation. Ilara didn't dodge. She stepped directly into the attack. Celine's claws slashed across her shoulder, but instead of tearing through flesh, they met a shockwave of radiant energy. Silver gold light surged outward, engulfing both wolves in a blinding sphere. Wolves shielded their eyes. Darius roared her name. The world disappeared. Inside the sphere, there was only Ilara and Celine. No corruption. No claws. No ravine. Just two young women standing in an endless white field. Celine looked down at her hands, normal again, uncorrupted. Tears filled her eyes. "What? Where?" Ilara stepped closer. "Inside the bond. Inside the truth." Celine's voice cracked. "I don't want to be a monster." "You never were," Ilara said softly. Celine fell to her knees, exhausted. "I wanted to be chosen. I wanted the moon to see me. I wanted Darius to see me. But it was always you, wasn't it?" Ilara knelt too. "No one was meant to steal anyone's destiny. We all have our own, and yours is not in darkness." The white field glowed brighter. Astra appeared behind Ilara in spirit form, luminous and calm. Celine's wolf, trembling, smaller, wounded, appeared behind her. Astra lowered her head in respect. Celine's wolf whimpered, leaning forward. A bridge of light linked the two wolves, gold meeting silver, healing energy coursing between them. Celine gasped as corruption peeled away from her spirit like falling ash. Her shoulders shook with violent sobs. "Ilara. I'm sorry," she whispered. "For everything." Ilara touched her hand. "You were hurt long before you hurt me." The white field dissolved. Ilara and Celine fell back into the real world, collapsing onto the forest floor as the sphere of light shattered into soft sparks of moonfire. Celine shifted back into her human form, breathing raggedly but no longer corrupted. The violet veins were gone. The darkness had vanished from her eyes. Wolves watched in stunned silence. Darius rushed to Ilara, lifting her gently from the ground. "Ilara, are you hurt? Talk to me, look at me." She breathed out slowly. "I'm fine. Astra shielded us." Darius exhaled with a tremor. Then he pulled her against his chest. Not as alpha. Not as protector. But as a man terrified of losing the woman fate was carving into his bones. "Don't ever walk into danger alone again," he murmured. Ilara closed her eyes. "I wasn't alone. Astra was with me." Darius's voice dropped lower. "Astra isn't the one I'm afraid of losing." The mate bond pulsed, hot, bright, undeniable. Wolves gasped softly as the air thickened around them, shimmering with something ancient. The moon responded. A beam of silver fell directly onto Ilara and Darius, wrapping around them in a slow spiral of light. The forest held its breath. Darius cupped her face, his thumb brushing her cheek. "Ilara, when I thought you were gone, something inside me broke. I cannot, will not, lose you." Ilara's lips parted. "Darius." Astra whispered gently. "Speak the truth." Ilara lifted her hand, placing it over his heart. "You haven't lost me. I'm right here." Darius leaned his forehead against hers. "The moon didn't call me tonight. It called you. And I know what that means." Ilara swallowed. "What does it mean?" His voice trembled with reverence. "It means you're not meant to follow a throne. You're meant to sit beside it." Her breath hitched. The wolves bowed instinctively as a surge of radiant power erupted from Ilara's aura. She wasn't forcing it. She wasn't even aware she was releasing it. Her rise had become inevitable. Selene, now fully conscious and humbled, whispered from the ground, "She is the Lunar Queen the prophesy spoke of." Darius turned, lifting Ilara's hand high. "Ilara, hail," he said, voice commanding enough to shake the earth. "The moon chose you." "But I..." His voice broke, then steadied. "I choose you too." Ilara felt the bond snap fully into place, a magnetic pull, a breath shared between souls, a certainty she had never expected to deserve. Astra roared inside her. Wolves howled in unison. Selene bowed her head, not in defeat, but in respect. "Lead well, Ilara. You were always meant to." Darius looked at Ilara with awe. "What do you feel?" Ilara breathed in the night air, the moon above blazing brighter than she had ever seen it. "I feel like the world tried to bury me." She lifted her chin. "But the moon remembered where I was planted." Darius smiled, fierce and reverent. "Then rise, Moonfire Queen." Ilara stepped forward, the clearing lighting beneath her feet. And the forest bowed. And as the moon crowned her in silver fire, Ilara Hail, once the forsaken Omega, rose as the Queen Destiny had waited centuries to remember.